way this works is we rank the albums like in a tier list. So we got
yeah, we can.
How do we even do this? Is it like a cage match kind of thing, or how? I don't. Okay, you know, because say if they had 7 records, it'd be like this. All right, here we go. But
17.
When it gets down to like 17, it's like, oh, okay, how do we?
So basically, here we'll click over. So we got a list. Where you got S, A, B, C, and Y at the bottom. You can't quite see. Y, not as in the letter. Y as in Y with a question mark. W H Y, because we did this also with Megadeth, and while we love a lot of their catalog, there is a couple times where we have to ask why.
I think there were like 4 albums in the Y category with Megadeth.
Megadeth has some Ys.
There are a couple questionables,
Yeah, Megadeth has been a band that has had a very good career, but has had it's there's a little bit the same here where there's some real great missteps. There's some really great.
Okay, I like this. This makes I'm like all the anxiety I had about how this is gonna happen has now gone away.
It's way fun. And also the chat is making a huge motion right now to rename the Y category to the demolition category.
Oh, that's amazing.
The AKA the Ripper Owens category is what they're saying for Y. I know Jugulator. We'll get there. It's not that terrible.
Poor old Tim. Really, Tim. Not by no fault of his own. It's just just some tomatoes, just some rotten tomatoes thrown at him on the. That's not. I mean, well, we'll talk about that. But I mean, I guess the logical way to do things is just chronologically. We go through albums.
Yeah.
We just there's no minimum or maximum number that has to be in each letter. Some bands will have 10 S's. Some bands will have 1 S. It doesn't really whatever we feel. So yeah, chronologically feels like the most logical way to tackle this giant pile. Because there is an interesting evolution of the band as well.
Yeah. So should we just start? We'll just start with Rock-a-Rolla.
Start talking about Rock-a-Rolla. Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'll probably be the most negative about Rock-a-Rolla of anyone here, which is
go for it.
It feels like it's an album that doesn't need to exist. Really, I mean, if this was a band that put out one album and it was Rock-a-Rolla, it would be like a really interesting artifact. But like with everything else they did, it's kind of just like, why am I listening to Judas Priest sort of just play Sabbath? Is the way I feel.
My friend last night was all. That first record, what is the one where like Judas Priest was trying to sound like Rush or something like that?
Yeah, it's just like Judas Priest presents the sounds of the 70s, and I'm like, well, this is a little
like it's almost like that feeling like if Sad Wings was the first album, like no one would care. Like I don't think that anyone's freaking out about Rock-a-Rolla missing from the catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good analysis. It sounds like Judas Priest trying to be Rush. Also, like visually, they looked like a 70s rock band. Yeah. Like they looked like cowboys. It was kind of really interesting.
Yeah, we don't, it's a couple albums till we get the aesthetic that, it's metal. Aesthetics are important.
Did you guys read what's the recent one? KK's book?
No.
No.
It's a good read, like
Is
honestly. It talks about some old days things, and it's just them being a band, and like bands in that time frame, you're just playing wherever all the time, and just trying to figure it out and just do it. Is kind of what I think I remembered about it. But there seemed to be a lot of like let's try to figure out, like if we start a band, it's got to you got to figure out what it is
exactly,
and eventually becomes what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that's the thing where it's like it's not even it's just a record that exists. You're not like I can't believe they made this record. You're like
I don't hate the record by any means, except I just don't really listen to it.
Yeah, it's like why would I listen to this over like a lot of records of the era just because it's like this is their first record, but at this time it's a lot of bands like third or fourth record where they've kind of like perfected this sound that Judas Priest is like playing with, and important is like, but why are you ever gonna pick it over like any Priest album or any like
Sure.
similar albums from the era?
The positives that you can take from it is like it's 74. It's like ridiculously metallic for 74.
Yeah.
There's like a lot, it is heavy metal for that time frame. And there's that tune like Run of the Mill. It's like pretty much like the proto of what would become the formula for songs like Victim of Changes. Like really showing that they could do like the clean epic stuff and the crazy vocals as well as the riffs. There's a couple moments on the record, but yeah, I don't spin it. And it's also two versions of the album cover as well, like two really widely spread versions of the album cover, and neither are really awesome.
Yeah, definitely just like,
good.
It feels like one of those, it just feels like a record that you'd be like flipping through a used bin when you're in like a town, and you'll just pass it and you'll be like, yep, that looks like an album someone from the 70s made. Definitely lacking the visual punch of, I mean, again, aesthetics are a big part of music, and for
Totally.
a period there, they really were the aesthetic, the reason we all dress the way we do.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anyone in the chat that has a case?
There was a chat thing.
Yeah. Is there anyone in the chat who has a case for Rockarola? Is there anyone who like massively disagrees with what we're saying, or kind of just gauging the room here between what Blaine, Christian, and myself are saying? It sounds like this might end up in like tier C if it were up to us. So what does the chat say? Is it in tier C? Is it in tier B? Is it somehow in tier A? Is it a Y? Where are we at? And Blaine is doing the poll right now. And you guys.
So I mean, I think putting it in the Y category would be aggressively unnecessary.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Right.
It doesn't do anything wrong. It's just it doesn't really like compel.
It's their first record. Yeah,
It's their first record.
Yeah, it's not like a whoa. Like we took like otherwise. I mean, if it was just aggressively terrible, you would never see it on anything.
Yeah,
It'd definitely not be on any streaming platforms. You'd never even hear about it. If they asked about it in interviews, they just kind of skip over that you even mentioned it.
Yeah, it's
But
interesting.
It's not that bad.
Because I'm on Google Play Music, and I was obviously going through all the albums and just listening, doing a refresher, and every single Priest album is on Google Play Music except the Ripper era albums.
There's no Jugulator?
Oh yeah, the Ripper era stuff is not.
No,
I think on most platforms at all.
yeah, because it's Google Play Music, it defaults to YouTube if it's not on there. So I was like, going through all the albums, and then you hit that era, and suddenly I'm on like people's like full album upload to YouTube. Yeah.
It's so funny. There's people in the chat who think it's Y. That's aggressively unnecessary. Yeah.
We got a pretty solid 25 voting for C.
Yeah, everyone's saying C.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Amazon Music has Demolition, but not Jugulator. If you have Amazon Music, as a reminder, you can subscribe to our channel for free.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I do love when a band's like. I love when a band buries. I mean, there's probably just rights issues or some shit like that, and they don't feel. And there's like literally no point.
I don't know. If both the Ripper albums is the Ripper live album on there? Like, if there's no Ripper era on the platform at all, it's obvious that the bands and management made a decision not to put any of that stuff there. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that has to do with publishing.
It's especially interesting nowadays with KK having KK's Priest with Tim Ripper Owens on vocals. Like it's really funny that KK was like, I'm not gonna do this thing, I'm gonna do my own thing, and you're like, okay, cool, who are you gonna do your own thing with? That vocalist
from Judas Priest, and I'm gonna call it KK's Priest.
And you're like, dude, you're really making it sound like, with his like kind of argument where it's like, oh, Priest is a little bit more my thing, and it doesn't feel like it's my blah blah blah. It's like, dude, if your response is to do KK's Priest and you're bringing Tim Ripper Owens in on vocals, it really sounds like you were the bad part of Priest.
It really sounds like you don't want to do your own thing. He said that in the interview. He's like, I just want a fresh start. And I'm like, do you though? Like, I interviewed KK. I asked him straight up about that. And he was pleased that someone asked him so, unfiltered. I said, dude, like, why'd you call your band? Like, you could have called your band KK Downing. You could have called it the KK Band. You could have called it anything. You could have come up with a name, but you chose KK's Priest. Like, why? I just said it like that. And he was like, I'm really happy someone finally asked. And he gave his side of the story. And I guess the main takeaway, which you've read his book, so you know that he's a little bit bitter about that whole situation. He said, I don't understand it. If they can be priests, so can I. It's the line. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. He's like, when I go see Judas Priest now, it's unfamiliar to me. He's like, I was a priest for longer than anyone on that stage. He's like, I've been a priest my whole life. If they can be priests, why can't I? And I'm like, all right, moving on to the next question. I'm not going to argue that one with you.
It's simultaneously like, fair enough, and seemingly you're wrong.
Yeah.
I've been a priest longer than anyone on that stage. Well, firepower compared to KK's priest is probably not. That's the rudest thing about KK leaving, where they just got they found a guy that looks almost exactly like him, but younger and hotter.
Plays his guitars too.
It was just it's like, you break up with your first wife and you just get a younger, hotter woman. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's
oh, man.
Dude, and Richie's started to look more like KK over the years. He's grown his hair differently than when he first joined the band. He's wearing the same outfits, playing the same good looking guitars. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Good for him, man. I wish I had that job. That's a sick ass gig.
Lane's thoughts on album artwork? Yeah, just rock and roll. I mean, it's literally just a bottle cap, which is I don't know. It's fine, but
so is that the original artwork, or is the
original? The album cover is not good. I mean, you don't have, just because it's Judas Priest record means you don't have to defend it. It's just okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just so like you said earlier, it looks like a '70s rock.
Yeah,
I don't know which one's the original. Is it the one with the weird creature thing with the jetpack on it, or is it the bottle
that's
cap?
A reissue. That's a
reissue.
The
bottle cap's the original cover.
Yeah, they probably put that new cover on because the bottle cap was so bad. Oh my god, Discogs! I love going on Discogs for something like Judas Priest, and you're like, which one's the original rock and roll account? And then there's just a little nested link beside it that says 119 versions. And you're like, oh my god, this album's been reissued 119 times in various different capacities.
And it's not a popular album. That can only tell you how many times Painkiller's been reissued.
Yeah. I mean, to transition, just reinforcing our point of putting this in C. Sad Wings of Destiny reissued 140 times with 2 years less time on this earth.
Speaking of Sad Wings. Everyone's good. No one's fighting on. This is the least horns we've locked ever. We're just rock and roll lives in C, and everyone's happy about it. Some people wanted Y. That's not necessary. Yeah, that's a pretty agreeable. Let's talk about Sad Wings.
Stanton Hammer, younger, hotter, and yet surprisingly less healthy.
I saw that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah, I guess that's what you say to KK. At least you have your health.
Yeah, you're still around.
Sad Wings for me. Okay, I'll be. Sad Wings is a step in the right direction, but still for me it's a little too much. Judas Priest presents the sound of the 70s. I mean, there's a piano ballad that really could be a Queen song on there. And, again, a little bit Black Sabbath-y and not quite as fat. I mean, the thing I really like about Judas Priest is speed, and there's not enough speed on there for me. So I would vote not S tier, certainly. I can understand the A tier placement by people, but S seems aggressive based on how, I mean, if you were comparing it to outside of Judas Priest albums, maybe, there was a bunch of albums on here, but comparing it with other Judas Priest albums, I feel that we'll get to. It feels hard to say it's, one of the top.
Let's hear
Chris. I love the record, but I feel compared to other records, it doesn't hit S. I think it's a solid A though. It's a really good record, but I don't know if I'd put it along lines of some other stuff that's coming up.
Yeah,
it's it's a tough one for me because it's in my top 3 Priest records, and it's in probably my top 10 records of all time. I get, it's kind of what we talked about earlier, where Priest is a band where the sound is they have so many different sounds, and of this 70s sound, of the 70s Priest sound, this is the best record. It's insanely fucking good. I mean, Victims, Tyrant, Genocide, I don't know, man. It's just
just Victim is, they could just have that song on the record.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
I'd go as far as to almost argue that while Black Sabbath invented heavy metal, they kind of invented that riff style of heavy metal. new wave of British heavy metal was invented by Sad Wings of Destiny. Like that is, to me, like that is the first metallic, like traditional heavy metal album that sounds that fucking good with that kind of guitar playing and that kind of riffs, like, and the fucking vocals. Man, it's like, for me, that's a very special record. I really love this record a lot. But yeah, I'm of this school of thought where instinctively I'd throw it an S, but like I could live with it being an A. I'm not going to be butthurt about that. And I saw someone else say that in the chat. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, well, since we're where we're generally sitting, we've got me more firmly in A. We've got Christian A straddling the line. You've got you more firmly in S. So the chat, it's up to you. We'll leave it in your hands between S or A. You can vote. Let us know. This is, it doesn't sound like any of us will be sad or disagree with wherever it lands. So
yeah, I'm happy wherever it lands. I guess I can also open my Twitch app and vote, right?
Yeah,
let's go.
Totally
BangerTV. Sad Wings of Destiny. I can vote.
Getting some action. Still looking like A, unless we've got someone really pushing the S.
I did one fake vote on the S. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I used bits or whatever for one of them. I'm not supposed to do that.
You're allowed to do that. Why not?
I don't know. Seems like cheating.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole show is cheating. Yeah.
This is rigged.
Yeah, I mean every episode there's something where it's like, we did a Canadian metal episode and I was like, well, I'm putting blasphemy on the essential Canadian metal list.
Did that to me.
And if you don't agree, everybody can go to hell. Canada created a genre of music. Sure, there's only 12 bands in the genre and 11 of them are bigots, but it's still important to note.
Yeah, we were at the point where there was like room for one more album and Blaine kept trying to get in. I'm like, don't worry, I know what album you want on the top list. I know. We're gonna skip a Razor record so we can get Blasphemy on here. I already know.
Yeah.
So we made Blaine happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we've got, looking like the chat's decided A, 28 votes for A, 19 for S.
60%.
Close. Hey, good representation for both. Definitely a high. It will have to stay at the high end of the A.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Because within the actual tiers, we can also like fine tune things. It's cool.
Yeah.
So something can be like low tier A or high tier A. It can get really nerdy. It's fun.
100 bits from True Color Records. Collar of Jordan's. Hell yeah. Would you say Priest, Motorhead, and Sabbath are the original three godfathers of metal? Maiden feels like probably needs...
No, way more Priest, Motorhead, Sabbath than Maiden, I think. But that's also a huge thing, is people are like, Maiden or Priest? So like, that's a silly argument.
Yeah, why do I have to make a choice?
Yeah, seriously, they're like two of the best bands ever, so like, just deal with it.
Yeah, because that's the thing, where it's like, that's not like a Coke or Pepsi choice. That's like a...
Hey, Bruna, thanks for subscribing on YouTube.
I can't turn that off. It's turned off.
Can we get a tour that's Paul Di'Anno, Blaze Bayley, and Tim Ripper Owens, please?
Did you see
the others?
Paul's playing Keep It True this year, or Keep It True Rising?
Yeah, I saw that, and I think that's real crazy. You can go see Paul Di'Anno sing Run to the Hills and stuff. Really interesting situation.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see, I'm sure there'll be videos of it everywhere, so I just kind of want to see it.
I'll show that because there's videos on the internet of him doing Maiden stuff, but a lot of it's in smaller clubs, and like, he used to do it a lot like a while ago, so it's like shittier video quality. Like, they're doing a real show. Like, that's going to be a show with a lot of cameras at it. There will be some pro shot vids of Di'Anno hopefully out of a wheelchair, standing and playing, maybe,
I don't know why no one's picked up on the fact that if you put so and so's blank, like, KK's Priest, it always is an advertisement to me where I'm always like, well, this is gonna be not good.
Jack Russell's Great White.
It's like you guys gotta stop with this. You gotta try and sneak this across the border. You can't be so blazing.
Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper.
That one.
Why do we need to put names before things? Just do it.
Yeah. Yep, let's go sin after sin already. All right, sin after sin. We got a little off topic. Sin after sin. This for me, is the first Priest album where I really get into. And I think, it's the first where you can hear Priest like going like figuring out like what it is that Priest is going to unleash on the world, and Starbreaker being the kind of like the standard bearer for this album. This is where I find it really clicks. And there's still like that weird bit where there's like a little bit of like Priest presents the sound of the 70s, where it's like Last Rose of Summer is like a Doobie Brothers song, and I love the Doobie Brothers, but it's like it's a Doobie Brothers song. But yeah, I mean, Starbreaker alone is like amazing. There's
it was the first Priest record I ever got. My dad gave it to me on cassette, and Dissident Aggressor and Diamonds and Rust like stuck with me instantly, like as a kid, like as an 8-year-old. And Sinner, that fucking part is so cool. That chorus is so cool. I don't know. That's that for me. Like, I don't know if Sad Wings is gonna live in A. I'd almost like to make a case for Sin After Sin to live in S tier. I think it's
we got some believers in the chat.
Yeah, I think it's like a really exceptional fucking record, and everything I said about like Sad Wings kind of being that first like true heavy metal, like British heavy metal record in the 70s, like Sin After Sin is like hard continuing down that path. It is like very, very heavy metal record.
Hellion Angel River, I use Dissident Aggressor as an alarm.
So Dissident Aggressor, that opening scream, I'll make a case for that being Halford's greatest scream ever. 2, that was my ringer on my cell phone for like 10 years was just it's fucking awesome. It's so high pitched, it doesn't even sound real. Slayer
I like it when
pretty cool.
I like it when stuff hits.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero for ads. Hey, Sub-Zero, you know how you avoid the ads? By subscribing to the channel, and if you have Twitch Prime, you can do it for free, and then you get no ad viewing.
Starbreaker, Let Us Pray.
Starbreaker is amazing.
The guitar tone's insane, too. Oh, yeah, I want to say this. On this album...
Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, is also a very...
It's, like, such a Priest thing that they nail is clean guitar tones that sound heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you can really hear, like, there's not a lot of dirt on that tone. It has a very controlled guitar tone. It sounds so fucking heavy for something that, you know, now we're, like, cranking everything to 10 in terms of drive and gain and shit. There's, like, nothing on that tone. It's so bare, and it's so dry, and it sounds so heavy.
Has Starbreaker been played live with the current lineup?
I have no idea. It's a great question. Yeah. It's a great song.
Great question for Judas Priest.
It's a great question for Setlist.fm.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Just remember that Diamonds and Rust is a cover. In fact, it is the beginning of a trend that Judas Priest would have, that their best songs are covers somehow. That would start with this. Like, dude, the Joan Baez cover and the Peter Green cover are insane.
Well, like I said, I mean, you know, they really are a band that it's not like they were particularly trying to sound like, oh, we can't do what other people are doing. It was just always like, how do we do what other people are doing as Priest? And yeah, interesting. So they're not. The last show, I don't see Starbreaker, but they do have Fleetwood Mac and Joan Baez.
So they do it. They do it like Unleashed in the East. They do it in the same order as Unleashed in the East. They do Manalishi into Diamonds and Rust. I was like blown away that they're doing that. It's so cool hearing those two songs stacked like on Unleashed. It's really cool. Those two covers in a row, and they like totally make them their own. It's
again,
unreal.
like, I mean, just to reinforce that it's a band that like isn't uncomfortable with talking about other people's music. The set started with War Pigs played off tape, and ends with, after they're done their encore, it ends with We Are the Champions on tape. So yeah, you know, not a band that minds talking about bands they love or bands that they think are amazing.
Yeah, Halford has this patch. It's not a battle vest. It's like a battle cloak.
Yeah.
That's just got like hundreds of band patches sewn on it. Really, really, really cool. Yeah, it's like a trench coat covered in patches. Have you seen this, Christian?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's insane.
like, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild.
I don't think anybody else can pull it off though.
Yeah, no.
Dude, no one else can pull off half the things that he gets away with. He doesn't just get away with them. We hail him as being the coolest dude ever. And you know damn well if any of us tried any of that shit, it'd be like, nah.
You can pull. I can you imagine getting like a wrestler onesie kind of thing, going on stage and like boots and shit, like. Rob Halford, everyone's like, yes! Like, yeah, if one of us did that, it'd be like, what is going on? Like, dude, you lost it.
Just Blaine Smith in a leather Speedo on stage.
Wouldn't fly.
Leather Speedo and chaps. All right.
So we're going to go Sin.
Sin after Sin. Again, it seems like S is the consistent opinion. We'll leave it up to the...
S-A and other, maybe. Let anyone who disagrees.
If you disagree,
no, it's definitely an S or A. I don't feel like you.
We're not even gonna let them have that.
If you disagree with S or A, you should be drug out in the street and shot.
All right, or that. Got it.
Yeah. Aggressive.
That is aggressive. That's
I mean, like, why did you come to the stream? You just be like, all Judas Priest albums are bad. Hey, Dear Beer Kaiser,
like all pro albums go into why. I don't even know why you guys have this.
Yeah. Dear Beer Kaiser, gifting the sub to Satan's Finest. Satan's Finest, good to see you. Give you more leather daddies? Hell yeah. Teach them a lesson in violence. This is so far the most heated vote. We're close to tied on Sin After Sin between S and A.
Basically a tie here. It is tied.
It is dead. The dead tie. Yeah,
I'm gonna vote
too. 13-13. Oh,
I'm voting.
14-14. Dead heat. 15-14. Just Sin After Sin just pulled ahead. 16-15. Damn, I like watching this. This is like, it's we got the Kentucky Derby going on here. Oh, we good. Oh. Every time you say, I'm about to say, Sin After Sin is pulling ahead with 22. Now A, it's up to 19 in A.
Wow, this is really neck and neck. I've never seen it this tight.
This is exciting. This is like when we did Shredders of Metal and it was Grant and Andy. The chat was trying to balance it so that there was no winner because did such
like
a good
they're
job.
Doing right now. Everyone stopped voting as soon as it got even. You guys, stop.
Oh.
The hell?
Sin After Sin.
My.
28-25.
I voted again.
29-26. 29-28. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jeezer. 33-32.
Dude, this is wild.
37-32.
37-32. That's the biggest lead we've seen yet.
Wow.
44-33. Oh, 46. All right. This is out of control here now.
48-35. 48-37. Sin After Sin. S tier.
48%. Yes.
Yes tier. Sin After Sin.
Krugs, thanks for spending 104 bits on making that happen.
Yeah. Love hey, if someone's that passionate, they deserve to really yell about it. But now is another album to come up and have a pretty heated conversation. I mean, I feel like Stained Class is maybe a record that DK should talk about first for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, like I think Stained Class is an amazing record. I worked in a record store that was called Stained Class. It was obviously named after the record.
What's that band you play in?
Yeah, so yes. So obviously
you literally live inside this record.
Obviously, the band I play in is very much named after the first song on side A of Stained Class. I worked in a record store called Stained Class. This album has clearly some weird, deep spiritual connection into my DNA because everything I do is like perfectly summed on this record. I think that the song Exciter is like, we're talking about, I keep bringing up how like there's first Judas Priest are like, discovering new territories of metal that no one was doing in the 70s, compared to what Sabbath was doing for metal versus what Priest was doing for metal. This is speed metal. This is literally like the drums, the riff, like the funk, like the rototoms and shit. Like it's just insane. The 2-line harmony melody, the second half of the song Exciter is like just it's really just its own. It creates a genre there with one song, and obviously that's why Dan and Al and John named their band Exciter, because it was obvious they wanted to play this new genre of music that was just emerging.
Also
1978, man, and this fucking speed metal in 1978. It's insane. That record, I think that Stained Class is, and again, in my opinion, it's going to come down to a chat vote on S or A. It's a perfect album for me.
I mean, I'll say this, there's definitely a reason that you are playing Exciter and worked at Stained Class and didn't work at Sad Wings of Destiny Records and play in the band Epitaph. Think about that difference.
Life would have been a different Judas Priest record.
Yeah.
Not a great album cover though. I'll give you that much.
Yeah, but hey, not a great album cover. Well, I like the album cover. Actually,
I like the album cover.
I like the album cover
Better than Point of Entry, I suppose.
And you can, if you don't like
dark vibe to it, it's great.
Yeah, if you don't like the album cover, you can be distracted by the very sexy logo in the top right-hand corner for the first time.
Oh, it's the first appearance of that logo.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
didn't even think of that. Is the first appearance of the cool logo.
Yeah. Yes.
What is it before? It's just that script, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the album cover too, especially like if that album cover came out in like the 80s, I wouldn't like it, but the fact that was 78,
it's way ahead of its time.
Super ahead of its time. That's literally the look of the 80s is that album cover, you know? Just like how many like high-end fashion stores like 10 years later would have like, you know, disco mannequins, like just silver mirrored mannequins, you know, really the kind of vibe on the cover. Yeah,
I take it back. Not liking the cover. I'm looking at it now, like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
it is cool.
It's a good one.
It's not as bad as Point of Entry. You can say that much.
Point of Entry is not a good cover.
No, it's a bad album cover.
I mean, we'll get to it. Christian, thoughts on Stained Class?
Stained Class is amazing. Like, it's an S.
Yeah.
I mean, basically everything DK said. I don't know what I mean. I don't need to reiterate it all. Like, it's a great record.
Yeah. I mean, this is where I feel like finally we now have we're missing the visuals a little bit, but this is where the sound of Priest has been figured out. They've got it, and once everything's clicked, and then, you know, this is kind of the thing that they've laid down the tracks for the future and can really kind of start rolling to the insane band that they are.
Well, this and like Sad Wings were records like when I was in my 20s, when I was starting to actually listen to more Judas Priest and the records that everyone's always heard of, you know.
Yeah.
Where I remember like going to, you're like, oh, what even are these records? What, you know, because there's, like we said, so many records. I remember getting them, just being like, what? I was like, how many? These are so amazing. Like, just I can't believe I've never ever heard of these things before. So they're definitely just
70s Priest. This has been like the most fun part of the day for me is going to be talking 70s Priest, because there's something really special about 70s Priest, and it's fun because, as you say, like if you just start listening to Priest from the points that everyone listens to Priest, you're going to get a ton of 80s and 90s Priest. That's what everyone kind of listens to, and their live set list is made up mostly of that, and those are the big tunes and where all the hits are from. But holy shit, 70s Priest is its own genre. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's really wild because they have a band of the 80s vibe to them, and you forget that they laid like a very solid base foundation in the 70s.
Four insanely good records, yeah.
Stained Class, vote in the chat whether you think it's S or A. Again, there's no other option. There's no you're outside of A, you're an insane person. Just
I'm voting.
Blaine, had you listened to every Priest album before this? No. But are they Priest albums, or are they KK Downing's Priest albums?
No. And you know what? Us doing a Priest episode together and having Christian here is total redemption. For the first time, we tried to do something related to Judas Priest together on this channel.
No,
we did. We were just trying new things at Banger, and the producer suggested we do music video reacts, because reacts were a big thing on YouTube, and then said we should do them for Judas Priest because Priest was releasing Firepower that week. And the only issue is that, like, seen every Judas Priest music video.
You can't live react to
and our producer was just kind of like, no, like, just like, you know, make it as if you haven't. So yeah, guess what? Reactions don't work if you've already seen something. We figured that out the hard way.
Yeah.
It was not a good video.
Yeah. No.
People hated it.
But yeah.
People really hated it.
Well,
Did you
also
act like you hadn't seen them?
Yeah, that's what they told us to do.
The video was also a little I don't think people, it was kind of the first time people were really seeing us on. I feel like it would work better now because now we have like an established relationship with the fan base, but I think the overall homoerotic tone of the video was a surprise to Banger viewers.
Oh yeah, it's the first time we have.
You haven't seen, especially some of those '80s videos. It's like people like you put them on, they're all, what are we watching? And you're like, they get all like uncomfortable or something.
Yeah, like Blaine and I leaned into that a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, may have gotten in each other's faces a little close for comfort for some of our viewers who didn't know that we were actually buds in real life. Yeah. So, we may have freaked a few people out.
Yeah.
But
Stained Class 69-11 for S. You know.
Yeah, S tier. So
S tier.
Honestly, so
Tier
far,
with a bullet.
50% of Judas Priest's 1970s releases are in the S tier.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And a contentious A from some of the chat for another one.
Yeah, they wanted Sad Wings in S tier.
Yeah.
So I think that we can say that everyone in this chat adores 70s Priest.
Yeah, you know,
Easy.
like, again, a really they're interesting records to listen to as well because it is, you know, you do get to see the very cool formation of a metal machine, like, you know, a massive, you know,
a jugulator, if you will.
A jugulator, a weird Panther tank hybrid.
Yeah, it is a weird album.
Well, so that doesn't even finish off the 70s for us.
78.
78.
Hellbent for Leather / Killing Machine is 70.
I cannot believe Hellbent for Leather came out in the 70s. I remember I first remembered, I was like, oh, it's a completely 80s record, right? I'm like, there's no way. How did it come out in 1979?
It's crazy. And the crazy thing is, Hellbent for Leather came out in 1979, but Killing Machine came out in 1978 in the UK, which is the same year as Stained Class. So they released those two albums in the same year. They just banged those out, pop, quick.
It's crazy how much different the band sounds like a same year or a year later. It's like, really sounds like an 80s record. How is Priest entering decades earlier than anyone else?
Yeah. And I mean, this is where we start. This is the kind of final piece of the puzzle as well, because now we get the full embracement of the Leather Daddy look, the culture, the thing that would cause every metalhead to dress in denim and leather for eternity. For the next 40 years. Yep. You know.
Crazy.
Yes.
The stranger
and
thing.
Not a single one of us was questioning our sexuality as we were doing it. We had no idea. Not a clue.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also, I think, the first album where we get a thing that is very cheesy, but Priest does very, very well in Take on the World. Is like, it's so manipulative. It's so like designed for entertaining an arena full of people and making them feel like they had a special experience. But Priest does it, and it's, I mean, you know, you just love Halford so much that you don't detect any malice from anything they do. So it's like, every record that they have a song like this on, I would fucking roast a band for doing stuff like that. I love every time Priest does it. It's so fun. I clap and sing and feel like I'm on the team. Yeah. It's that triumphant moment. It is. It really is. It fills your chest with pride. Jade, thanks for the gifted sub over to Slash Bunny. Yeah. It's a hot move. That's right, Dibir Kaiser. I was talking about covers before. This is where Manalishi is. Dude, this band, Judas Priest, is masters of covers and making them into heavy metal songs. Yeah. Manalishi was already heavy, but still had like its kind of like folk and kind of 70s sound to it. Joan Baez, like Diamonds and Rust, is fully a folk song. But yeah, Green Manalishi on Killing Machine is insane. It's like gotta be in my top favorite covers of all time. Title track, Hellbent's insane.
delivering the goods. It's a really good record, man.
Deadpan at this point, man. Alicia and Diamonds are both Priest songs. Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, Fleetwood Mac won't play.
So.
Even now, like Fleetwood Mac would never play Green Man Alicia, right? It's not a thing that would happen. So. No, it's Peter Green song. It's like a Peter Green. You know, it's like Peter Green era. I don't think they really touch any of that. But yeah, it's a really good album. Album cover's pretty cool too. What's the story with the two album titles? Is it because of a mass killing in America?
Yeah, there was a school shooting in America, and they thought Killing Machine was not the best name for an album after a tragedy that happened in a school that America would then right the ship and would never happen again. They didn't want to accidentally be insensitive about that rarity that is a school shooting by having an album called Killing Machine come out right next to it. So they called the album Hellbent for Leather, which I mean, you know,
that
sometimes
really worked out for them.
Yeah, it worked out pretty all right in the end. Shook out pretty good.
Walking Deadpan is one of our very committed viewers on all platforms. Says, yo, Christian, thanks for the second run of Hell's Hero shirts. I missed out on grabbing one at the fest the first time.
Thank you for getting one.
Yeah, those shirts
I ordered a bunch, and I was like, okay, it's cool. And then I was like, I hope I sell them all. And then we ran out, and I was like, oh, like we ran out like in the first 30 minutes or whatever the line went through, and I'm like, okay, shit, I gotta order some more.
Yeah,
I figure that works out a lot better. I mean, it's like, hey, cool, you're gonna have to stand in line at the fest. Just shows up at your house.
Yeah. You didn't anticipate. I mean, it's funny because like normally, no offense, but festival T-shirts are like, why a little bit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like,
there's some Y tier.
It's usually like shirts. Even if the festival's great, it's usually like, okay, well, there's a bunch of logos on the back of a shirt with like a 6 out of 10 artwork on the front. But again, as Hell's Hero being the best independent festival in America, not falling victim to that either.
Yeah, that artwork was sick. There was a huge printout of the artwork on a wall. Everyone's like stopping all day to take photos with it. It was so cool.
Yeah, I feel like if you can't get, I mean, especially on smaller festivals, or I mean, I guess big fests don't really care about the artwork on some of them. Some do, but I feel like it matters the most. It's like why do you want to go to, like, especially you're getting people to travel from everywhere. If they can't look at the flyer and be like, man, this looks cool, I should go.
Yeah, and
like, even, you know what? Hellfest is a huge one that has really good, all the Hellfest merch is really
Hellfest
nice.
stuff is, like, they put a lot into making, like, everything.
And they do all, like, it's, like, not just a shirt. You can buy, like, you could clothe your entire family in Hellfest stuff. They have everything, and kitchen items and whatever. But, like, some fests...
Like, those villages, like, I saw those videos, like, say you and Tony are posting, and then a slew of other friends we have that played there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just all, is there a whole city built around this festival?
Yeah, it's called Hell.
Yeah.
It's serious. Dude, France, I know it's like a quick aside here, but France loves Sweden. Yeah. That's what I really established at that festival. Or France loves Satan. Like, what I really established at that festival. Like, Ghost was a headliner above multitudes of bands that have existed for 40 years before them. Like, Ghost played the very last band of the night on Friday night, and there were 80,000 people there, like, just like ritualing. It was insane. Like, and I don't know, like, all the branding and stuff, it's like really well done. Like, it's a cashless festival, so there's signs everywhere that says there's no cash in hell. And it's just like all the street signs say hell and stuff. And
yeah, they
heavy metal Disneyland.
They love hell because Hell and Satan are the original going on strike. That's the original going on strike. And if there's one thing France loves, it's going on strike.
Yeah, France loves Satan. Drowned in Black, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
One of the strangest moments, the most like surreal, like North America and Europe do not operate the same, as when I was teaching there. There was just one day where the teachers were like, okay, and so next Tuesday or whatever it was, just don't come in. And I was like, oh, what's going on Tuesday? They're like, we're on strike. And I was like, oh, did something happen? And they're like, no, we're on strike this day every year, like just in perpetuity. Like,
strike day.
We just have strike days.
I'm gonna do it.
And you're like, Why? And they're like, just things aren't good enough. And you're like, I mean, fair enough. I'm not gonna argue the other way. Hey, Drowned in Black, good to see you. And Boy Number 9, thanks for gifting the sub.
All right, let's place Killing Machine.
Killing Machine. Killing Machine / Hellbent for Leather.
Heard somebody loves Satan and joined on the spot. Roberto Tederico, one of my favorite greasy death metal artists in the chat. Good to see you, buddy.
Hellbent feels like an A. It's an A. It's an A or B. A or B. I feel A or B. I mean,
it's a cool album cover.
It's a cool album cover. It's a cool.
It makes a lot more sense for the title Killing Machine than it does Hellbent for Leather.
Well, I mean, he's got a leather daddy cap on.
I know, but he looks like he's about to kill someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
for real.
It does. It definitely looks like he is a killing machine. I do love earlier in the.
Did we have to do a poll on is it S, A, or B? Is it Sab?
Sab. A, B. Low A to high B. Bottom of B. Oh, yeah, this seems like. Okay.
I feel like it's an A, but yeah, I feel like this needs a poll.
Yeah. What you got any other thoughts on the record?
I mean, I feel like very rare. I mean, I love this record a lot, but rarely does anybody ever have, at least with Hellbent for Leather, like, do you put out a record title that I guess metalheads have used cross things, and I don't know probably how many DJ nights or whoever yells this when they're drunk.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like it's a thing. If someone's hellbent for leather, it's like, you know, we all know what it means. We all know where it came from. That's a very good point, though.
Okay, so is the record hellbent for S tier, A tier, or B tier? Poll is live in the chat.
Sab. I'm gonna vote.
It has two great songs. The rest I can't remember. Yeah, I feel like it's
roll a C tier. It ain't B tier.
It definitely feels like a record that
voting.
It's strange when a record like has a large impact, but it's more the record had an impact than like the song. Like it's a formative record for Judas Priest, for the metal community, for everything, and a lot. It's the delivery of the image more than the music. The music was, I mean, they came out in the same year, so it kind of works well that like Stained Class delivered the music and then Hellbent delivered the completed package, the completed look.
Dude, just that song Hellbent for Leather, like I understand.
Yeah, I was like
everyone's like, you know, what do? We like pretend we don't like hits because we're too cool, right? You know, you don't like the hits, but like, dude, that's a fucking insane song that came out in the 70s.
70,
crazy.
78.
The song is amazing. Yeah, the whole thing came out in the 70s. Is still like just my mind's always like.
Yeah, that is an insane record.
All right.
Especially for when it came out. It looks like it's going to end up in tier A.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's going to end up in tier A. We now have
2 for
S and A completely overrun with 1970s Judas Priest records, as it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, this is I mean, but then, oh God, there's a record I would be mad about, but anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Great album, but not better than British Steel. The drum production.
Well, lucky you, British Steel is next.
Lucky you, yeah. Transition into British Steel.
Christian, kick it off. Talk to me about British Steel.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like British Steel has to be an S. Besides the fact that it has like you're talking about singles. It has their biggest song of all time, and it's got stuff like Grinder and everything else. I mean, it's a great record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exciter
it's also, I mean, I feel like some people don't want to put it in the S because it's too obvious or something like that, but I feel like it still needs to be there.
That was our Exciter cover. We had to do a Priest cover, and Grinder was our cover. We did it at Hell's Heroes. It's like one of the only times we've played it in the States. We did it the first time. But yeah, Grinder, like on a record where Grinder's like the stealth killer track, like your album's really fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You don't need to even be. I understand it's a simple song, but you don't even need to be able to play guitar to just pick up the guitar. Someone can teach you the main riff to Breaking the Law, and it is one of the most satisfying feelings in the world when you're learning guitar. It's like the one song I can play on guitar, and it's crazy how you can fumble your way through it and it sounds so amazing. Like, it doesn't make sense how, like, it's so simple, but you feel amazing playing it. It is a magic spell.
So I like, we've got some people in the chat who are saying it's an overrated as hell record, B tier at best. I'd love to hear that argument. More than just overrated. Like, what does that mean?
What does overrated mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Does that mean that people like it more than they should? Give me something. Give me something. Because
I'll say this again
to digest here.
We want to talk about like branching. Breaking the Law then creates all of Screaming for Vengeance. That's like the template for that whole goddamn record. Grinder is the template for Painkiller, and United, as I've already said, I love getting duped by Priest into clapping my hands and feeling like we're one big family. And again, just another template for a thing that they do all the time that works great.
3 amazing songs surrounded by a bunch of lame-ass filler. It's their Number of the Beast. Now, here's the thing. I will give you that Number of the Beast has a lot of filler on it, and I think that's
Isn't this record
epitome.
Like 38 minutes or
I think
something?
that's the epitome of an overrated record is Number of the Beast. Because of certain songs on it, people think the whole record's that good. But there's no way that you can apply that logic to this record. This album, I don't think this album has a bad song at all. It's different, though. It's a different formula.
36 minutes.
It's
a 36-minute record as well. Like if you say
solos.
There's only 3 good songs on it, yeah, 3 of 9. Like, it's not. It's crazy.
Rapid Fire, Metal Gods, Breaking the Law, Grinder, United, You Don't Have to Be Old, Live In, Rage, and Steeler. That's a fucking perfect record, man.
Like, even if you just say, okay, the A side's better than the B side, you can, an A side can put a whole record on its back, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if something's so good, and it's crazy to not say.
There's also, I know that we're not grading the records based on their album covers, but
yeah,
totally,
yes,
totally
we are.
Something to be said about, like, this is, they figured out what their album covers are supposed to look like with this album cover.
Like, there's a belt buckle of this.
Now, saying that, that'd be interesting what we could talk about on the next record, though.
Yeah, yes. There's a belt buckle of this album cover. This album cover turned into a belt buckle. It's so good. I mean, the razor blade with the logo, and especially in the hand, like the razor blade on the logo would have been a very good album cover. The hand holding it just like transcends it to like a flawlessly perfect Metal Man Forever DK.
A lot of people didn't like my Number of the Beast comment. Yeah. I think Number of the Beast is half filler.
S tier period. All right. Let's go to the chat. It
sounds like you're going to have to give it S, A, or B, which I'm shocked.
Oh, again, that's
there's a bunch
insanity.
of we got to hear everyone, man.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that there's a bunch of B sympathizers for British Steel in the chat. That's weird. All right, the poll is live.
Poll's live. S, A, or B.
I'm voting.
Whoa! Immediately, we've got a lot of action. We've got a lot of action on all fronts.
BangerTV vote.
So good.
I can't believe I was spending bits before. I didn't realize that button was bits, not channel points. I spent like fucking $11 in bits this stream.
we thank you for it.
My credit card's just connected to that. You're welcome, Banger. I'm invoicing.
Well, all right. We've got again a tight race. We've got 5 absolute losers. But then we've got 21 for S, 20 for A.
So it's either S or A, which is, I'm glad that there's only Deadpan who thinks it should be in B.
Yeah. Insanity.
At best, as he said.
At best. That's crazy. I mean, one song, even if you just say like it has one song, the one song is so good that, and it doesn't even just, even if you only say it has 2 songs, which again is insane. The 2 songs are so good that it's like
these ones are supposed to be easy. Like, to me, these are the easy records. We're gonna have to split some hairs and be mean later.
I mean, if you're saying that it's anything lower than A, it's like we need to add some new letters below Y for some shit.
Straight up.
Like if it's banned, where do you put like all of the modern output except for firepower?
Dreamer Deceiver. I like that statement. It's true. Like everyone just abuses the breaking the law riff to the point where you become allergic to it. 100%. And Ian Hill, a rare bass highlight moment on the Rage, something that doesn't happen nearly enough in Priest. Ian Hill standing at the back of his amp stack for 50 years, minding his own business, like the chillest dude in heavy metal.
The chat has voted 25 to 21 for
S tier. There you go.
And not a lot of bits, so this was an honest one too. No one needed to pull any shenanigans. We didn't have any 25 think S, 26 think not S. Yeah, but 5 of those people said B, and so who cares what they think?
Deadpan. And for my next trick, I will defend Jugulator as an underrated B tier album. Get out of here.
That's coming.
All right,
let's talk about Point of Entry.
So,
not an atrocious album.
My point about Point of Entry is that, like, the record is like poorly conceived when the album cover is a plane wing and the whole album is about like a road trip in a car. What?
That's good.
Did you?
That's the comedian in you. That's good.
What?
That's good.
What's
really
next?
Good.
That's really good.
It's like that would be like if like Iron Maiden called an album Senjutsu and it was all Western themed. Yeah. Oh wait, that also happened.
And that's also real.
So yeah, Point of Entry. I mean, again, this is like if if the band that made Rockarola decided to make another album, I feel like. This is like them being like, is the 70s dead? And you're like, yeah, it's dead.
It's good. I mean, Highway's a good song. Hot Rockin's a good song. Desert Plains is fucking sick. There's some good tracks on it. Troubleshooter. There's tunes. Album cover's really bad.
The album cover's so bad.
I feel bad. I feel bad for saying anything about Rockarola being a bad album cover because now we have this. I'll take that Coke bottle cap any day over this.
Yeah.
It's a bad album cover.
So
I'm going to go with C on this.
Yeah. Hard C. C at best. Yeah. Very definitely the worst the worst album of the Halford era outside of unless we're starting to super consider modern albums, which we will later, but at best, a lot of aggro at best.
We have one person.
I definitely don't think it's a Y. Cool.
I don't think it's a Y. I don't think it's an atrocity, but I think it was definitely a lot of whoopsie. I think it's an album about driving cars, and I want Judas Priest to drive a robotic Skybird, not a car.
It's ridiculous.
I don't want down to earth Priest. You know what I mean? I don't want them talking about things that I might encounter in my life. I want them talking about a grinder that
is hungry for meat,
hungry for meat. Yeah.
Looking for some meat.
Looking for some meat, just begging.
Yeah.
Begging to eat. Yeah. The first line in that song is always straight and narrow. The C tier seems to be.
We don't even.
I don't think we need it. I don't
C tier. C. Look at the chat. It's just all C's.
No one said anything outside of C. Pick a better road trip album. Yeah, basically.
Okay, that was easy.
Deadpan. We can just throw a point into B tier and move on.
Yeah, dude. Deadpan's got some interesting takes. Deadpan was at Hell's Heroes. I saw him there. It was my first time meeting him in person. Yep. There was a DK Army fucking tailgate barbecue at Hell's Heroes. It was insane. You got some...
Really? I didn't know about this.
You didn't know about this?
Yeah. I didn't get invited.
What do you mean you didn't get invited? I mentioned it like a billion times.
He's pissed. He's like, "What? Why didn't I get permit fees from you?"
You know what? You were like in your office fucking smashing dominoes, and I'm like, "Hey, there's like a thing," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay here."
Yeah.
Maybe I should have told you it was. It definitely did happen. Yeah, there were like a dozen DK Army heads, and they smoked a pork butt and all these sides and pulled up in that parking lot across the street and did a huge...
Oh, wait, I think you did tell me about this.
Yeah, huge tailgate the day...
I don't know how I missed it, though.
I know. You would have been right up your alley with tunes, cold beer, hot meat. It was awesome. Yeah. See, but only like... I play everywhere, and that's the only place that's happened. Just goes more to... reminding everyone how cool Hell's Heroes is and to get your tickets quick because it sells out like 11 months in advance every year. That's the new thing.
Deadpan did do a great job and posted his own tier list in the Banger Discord. Good job, Deadpan. And yeah, I should start posting the links to these because this is just on tiermaker.com and you can play around with all our Lockhorns tier list yourself.
Oh yeah, you can make your own tier list and post it in the Discord and say you guys were wrong. This is what it should have looked like. That's a great idea. We can get mini debates going in the Discord.
Yeah,
everyone join the Discord.
But we can just skip point of entry. Which I mean, again, it's crazy that we're only at 1982. We're talking about
there's one section that's gonna go real fast.
We're about to talk about Screaming for Vengeance in 1982.
Yeah, it's
crazy. This album coming out in 1982 is wild because this is one of the few truly perfect albums of all time.
Yeah, I mean, especially too, we talk about all elements of it. It's the songs, the artwork, the presentation, the tone, the production. It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that doesn't think this is an S? Is more like it.
That would, you'd have to be crazy.
Literally, the S tier for Hellion Electric Eye 1-2 Punch opener is enough for S tier.
Yeah,
like that, an easy S tier, bruh.
Yeah,
like the rest of the album could suck and it would make S.
Yeah, everyone's like, you can't carry an album with 2 songs. Those 2 songs can.
Yeah. And one of them's not even really a song.
Yeah, one of them's a fucking intro.
One of the only times, I feel like top of the S to you. Top of the S to you. Screaming for S tier, triple S, S plus, Screamer for Vengeance emote from Der Beer Kaiser.
Screamering for Vengeance. I see that. That's a clever emote.
I put it in A tier because I had Hellion as my alarm clock for 3 years, and now I can't stand it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, you can accidentally ruin a song for yourself in the same way you can like ruin a food item by just making yourself sick.
You don't ever put a song you really like to wake up to. You'll just resent it.
Yeah.
No. I had the only song I've ever really had as my ringtone was Snakes of Divine by High on Fire because it's like really perfect as a ringtone and I really like the song, but if I like ruin the song for myself, I'm not gonna be like, no, I could never listen to High on Fire Snakes of Divine again. You know, but it is a great it's a great ringtone. But getting way off topic.
Screaming. Do you have the 8-bit version of it?
No, I'm the 8-bit
that would be
version
awesome.
of it. Yeah. Chiptune.
Wow,
that would be great. Yeah. This is probably I would say this is
unanimous S,
and I would say this is probably in the top 5 most listened to albums I have of my entire life, regardless of genre, age. Screaming for Vengeance I'll play it over and over and over and over.
You know your album is insane when Devil's Child is like somehow the sleeper track on it. Like that's an insane record. Like holy shit, there's no vote needed. Let's have some respect for Vengeance. No vote needed.
Top of the S. The only argument the only argument I'd accept around Screaming for Vengeance is Painkiller better than it. That's the only argument you can have about.
God, there's gonna be too many S tier albums, dude. This is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that's the thing about Judas Priest. I mean, and again, 82, and I mean. And then, like, normally Judas Priest does have a bit of a curse where they release one of their greatest albums and then fucking flub the landing afterwards.
I've actually, since yesterday when I texted Christian to confirm the show today, and I was like, I've had a lot of conversations with Christian. There's not going to be, like, anything I'm going to learn new about him tomorrow. We'll just be talking about a band we both love. Wait a minute. I get to hear his opinion on Turbo.
Wait, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. You can't skip over Defenders of Faith. You can't skip over Defenders of Faith.
Oh, sorry. Can we also put Defenders in S tier and just move on?
Yeah, Defenders is S.
Defenders is S?
S.
I'd say A for Defenders just because I mean it's so like it's a really good job following up Screaming, but it definitely doesn't beat Screaming.
It doesn't beat.
It definitely
Screaming.
doesn't beat Screaming, but I would say it's still an S.
Yeah.
Sentinel, Freewheel into Jawbreaker. Come on.
Freewheel, is such a, and Freewheel opening an album is like,
Heads Are Gonna Roll, Heavy Duty, title track, Eat Me Alive. It's a fucking perfect album.
Yeah. And I mean, again, and we're always going to talk about it, but album covers, like,
artwork,
so strange,
it's the
so
same
unique,
artist,
right? Good.
It's the same artist, right?
Good.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. And the same guy did Firepower as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did Turbo as well.
Yeah, it looks like he did Turbo as well. Yeah, it looks like they finally settled on an artist for that era.
And
man, this is how we should look.
Yeah, and man, like, it's just so unique. Like, Robot Eagle is one thing, but like, Mustache Panther Tank, like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, whatever. Mustache Panther Tank is the best.
Yeah, that's the best. Mustache Panther Tank and Robot Eagle.
Yeah. Rock Hard, Rock Free from Corrupt Sage and Hellion Angel Ripper. Yeah. Mega Man Boss. Yeah, Mega Man actually did kind of copy this album. Mega Man X, the first Mega Man X, they basically take this and make it a boss. Yeah, that's how good it is. A video game literally just was like yoink.
We need to do an Iron Maiden Lockhorns because I'm not letting go of DK's Number of the Beast from our Child in Time. We'll 100% do it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, we need to figure out the perfect guest for that.
Martin Popoff.
Martin Popoff?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He's our guy.
Yeah. But I don't know. The problem with having Popoff
We're just going to
on
argue. I'm just going to argue with him for fucking 2 hours. We're just going to scream at each other.
He's too generous with stuff like he's so stingy with everything else, but then something like Maiden comes on and he's just handing out like...
Can't do no wrong.
Yeah. Entombed is like a, what was it, like a left-hand path is like a 3
Left-Hand
out of
Path
5 or
was a
something
3
to
out
him,
of
but like
5.
every Iron Maiden album is like amazing. Yeah.
Stay on target. Let's clean up S tier because obviously Defenders is not better than Vengeance. Does Defenders live? Where does Defenders live in the S category? Right now from the top.
Let's see. Well,
I would say next to, I'd say below Defenders, but I guess above those other three.
Above Stained Class, above Sin, and above British.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Oh, having a hard time with that word, are you, Blaine?
All right. So, do you think we got a poll going in the chat? As always,
Defenders of the S tier or A tier?
Is Defenders the defender of the S tier or is the defender of the A tier? Again, B tier, not really a conversation starter. Not a conversation starter.
No, not an option.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is we don't have to only put one album in S, and I think at the end it really kind of shows you how amazing a band can be when it's like, you know, I'm stingy with I'm pretty stingy. I'm a pretty stingy guy with these things. I'm gonna get pretty aggressive later, but you know, did I hear Pop-Off's coming on? Metal Multiball with 100 bits.
Metal Multiball, thank you for the 100. I love your name every time I see it. Just reminds me of Multiball.
Sin After Sin is an A compared to Screaming, capital S for. Well, that's why Screaming's at the top of the S, right? I mean, yeah, we could. Priest is one of the bands I'd say you could potentially have an S plus tier for, and it's just.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind. Yeah, you could almost get rid of the Y tier with this band. You could really get rid of Y and add S plus.
Yeah, and just as long as you say if Halford's not singing, it's not Judas Priest.
Remember the early days of eBay? Everyone's eBay reviews for their sellers were A plus 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 like plus 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 top tier seller.
I do remember that.
Plus plus plus.
So we got enough
pluses.
We got another close race, 17-13, S to A.
I'm gonna vote too. I haven't voted yet.
Yeah.
Gotta vote quick. Load.
Yeah.
Load.
It's weird because it's like simultaneously it's kind of a very different album from Screaming for Vengeance, where Screaming for Vengeance is almost just like a collection of hits. Like it's just like hit song after hit song after hit song. Any of the songs could have been a single, you know. Whereas Defenders of Space is a bit more of an album. It's a bit more of an album, a little less of a hit machine.
Krusty with the hot take. Demolition S plus.
Demolition S plus. Yeah.
It says, Blaine, I'm stingy. We know Blaine with a Varg emote.
All right, S tier. S tier, Easy choice in the S tier, but yeah, I would say direct. If you're gonna put it in S, probably the direct middle.
I can do that.
Lower than Stained Class, higher than Sin After Sin.
I feel like there's an argument for it being in Stained Class's place as well, but we don't have to split hairs on that.
Good to see you. Stay Puft Mallow coming in.
Hey, John, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Yeah. All right. Now, okay, here's the I don't know what Christian's hot take is, but it's now hot take. It's now hot take.
I want Christian to start.
Christian to start on Judas Priest Turbo. Turbo is the next album we're talking about.
S.
S?
Oh my god, I can't. I'm leaving.
S.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Stop it. Stop.
I mean, Reckless could have been on Top Gun, and it was like, I guess they almost did put it on Top Gun or something, but yeah. Turbo's great. It's super 80s. I'm super 80s obsessed.
It's a nice way of
saying
saying
I thought I was gonna yeah. Obviously you feel the exact opposite way. Just by like the head shake.
I do not feel the opposite way.
Okay.
I love Turbo. And I think if you don't like Turbo, it's crazy to me that DK doesn't like Turbo because DK loves
I think it's crazy too.
Listen, Reckless is the best song on the record. Reckless is the best song on the record.
I mean, if you think Reckless is the best song on the record, then this is a great record because Turbo Lover is like so amazing of a song. It's so good. It's so good.
Do you just hate the song or what?
I think that it's like...
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like this record, so like, like Trevi hates this record.
Yeah.
From Necrofier, he's just like, he's not like it at all.
I'll take the easy way out. It's the synths. It's the 80s. It's the 80s. It's the 80s-ness of it. It's all the effects. It's all the synths. It's all the riffs are kind of buried under effects almost. Like it's more important for them to make noises than it was to make heavy metal riffs. I don't know. Are there some moments? Fuck yeah. Title track? Come on, man. Turbo Lover's fucking sick, obviously. Reckless is fucking sick, but like Rock You All Around the World? Like, get the fuck out of here.
All around the world. Gonna rock you. We're gonna rock you. Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Love it. I'm telling you, like I said, they've got a formula for those songs and all of I don't know how you could say like, oh man, Rock You All Around the World sucks, but boy, I love United and Take on the World. Like, I mean, it's the same song. It's the same song. But I would argue
it's like you were never in Diamonds or something like that.
And like, I mean, come on. God, you like Motley Crue and you don't like Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days? Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy. That I like will say Wild Nights and Hot and Crazy Days in conversation when like a weekend's going well. I'm gonna say if Psycho, I'm gonna be saying that. I'm gonna be singing that song to you left and right, buddy. Anytime anything good happens, I mean, yeah. And also there's just there's a level of fun silliness like parental guidance. Like Judas Priest is kind of old at this point, and then being like, "Get out of here, parents!" And you're like, "Aren't you like 40 years old?" There's like a little beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love this album. The only song that isn't amazing is Private Property, and even that's not bad.
It's cheeky, though.
It's cheeky.
That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be cheeky.
It's cheeky.
Out
in the Cold is a highlight for me. Yeah, Out in the Cold, I legitimately.
This is a poll. I feel like this is a very poll record.
No, this is a huge poll. This is like a huge poll one. I actually found it very interesting when Turbo 30 came out, and like everyone was so fucking hyped for the reissue of Turbo 30-year reissue, and I was like, really? Like, this is a thing?
Like, honestly, a lot of Turbo stuff, I just figured I was like one of the few people. It's like all Turbo rules, and a lot of people around me were all like, "You're an idiot." So that's kind of how I assumed it was for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't. I always thought people didn't like Turbo, and no, people like Turbo. You're really throwing the poll here. This guy's such a cheater. I guess we need to do a poll. I would put it in like for me, Turbo's a B tier, an easy B tier. Yeah. That's kind of where I would put it. I wouldn't go as far as C. I think that's reserved for those special albums. But oh wow. You're really
So,
swaying
yeah.
the poll here.
Yeah,
Poll's
you can
live.
do C-A-B. I'm not rigging things.
Yeah, I was like, this needs a spectrum. I want to.
I got S to C. I'm not accepting anything outside of C because of like there's no way this is worse than like there's like a fucking stack of albums that's worse than this. So you can pick S and be a cool person. You can pick A and be still cool. You can pick B and be wrong, or you can pick C and be an inhuman monster. Like I think if you pick C, I need to check if you've ever had fun in your life. Like I need to make sure, like if you haven't been to a beach in your life, you shouldn't be able to phone this. Because like this is a Priest album for the beach, baby. This is Priest's beach album, and I love the beach. I love the beach.
Did you guys do the Turbo video when you did the video stuff?
Of course.
With the flags?
Of course.
One of the just a peculiar video, and I love it. So it looks like B is where most of people are putting it. We got 20 to 18.
The Painkiller video was fun though. I'm like, what do they build in this factory? What is this factory? This factory manufactures like sparks exclusively. There's no actual machinery going on.
The Painkiller video is rad. Just nonstop movement. Like, what's going on? It's still going. It's never gonna stop.
It's like grayscale too. There's no color. It doesn't need it. It's just fucking action. It's like sparks. It's nonstop.
It's so sad no one keeps vinyl in old school wooden crates. The proper way to store them. Shelves are so lame. That's because you can't get crates anymore. You can't even get milk crates anymore. Well, I mean, you can get them, but they're really expensive.
I also can't have 7,000 wooden crates stacked on top of each other in my home.
It's interesting because in Canada, our issue is the milk crates are. I don't know if they switched to them in the US.
They did it in the 70s.
In the 70s, the switch from imperial to metric sized crates really screwed up records.
That's why those crates are worth like all my old milk crates from the 70s, like the ones that fit records, like. People want to buy them from you for like $30 or $40. I'm like, are you guys fucking crazy?
Yeah, well, because it's also funny because there's like a company that makes them, but like the shipping on them is brutal because it's something made to ship something. You like have to pay as though you're shipping that thing full. You're shipping empty space.
Yeah, I don't get your crate argument. That's a bad argument. You know what crates are for? When you bring them to go DJ somewhere. You bring 2 crates with you. You call it.
It's for when you're moving. It's funny. Whenever I move, I go to Brian and I'm like, "Hey, can I borrow some record crates?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you need to bring them back." Like really aggressively. He's like, "Yes, but I need them back immediately." And I'm like, "Thanks, Brian."
I think for moving, you can get the Tupperware bins is really good too. You can fit way more in a Tupperware bin and they stack.
Yeah, the Tupperware bin works really well.
Yeah, I do that whenever I have to move a vinyl collection. What was that? Hey, Carlos, thanks for subscribing on YouTube.
The YouTube channel. So 23 people were wrong, but I don't hate them and put it in B. 20 of you are animals and should be kept in cages because clearly, why does it matter if you're kept in a cage or allowed to be free? Because you've never been free a moment in your life.
Wow, you're really upset about this.
Yeah.
Next
is a record that is
divisive.
Painkiller's intro track. Not better than Turbo. Next up, we have Ram It Down, 1988.
I don't know. For me, it's like more metal than Turbo. It's less 80s. It's definitely got more metallic edge to it, but I don't know. Like the title track, that scream at the beginning, title track's awesome. Blood Red Skies is obviously sick.
Red Skies, is it just weird as Blood Red Skies sound like? You want to talk about complaining about them doing 80s sound? Blood Red Skies sounds like Rock Me Amadeus.
Yeah, it's okay, sure. It does. That sound, the sound with the reverb, it does. Holy shit. Yeah, it's a pretty 80s.
Ram It Down just, Ram It Down, the song is cool. Cool, I guess. But the record as a whole is just kind of like, okay. But
Hard as Iron. There's a good song.
One of the
The Telling Me Good Thing's weird though.
Oh, I was gonna say I retract my statement that their covers are always the best in the world. That is one of the worst covers I've ever heard.
Yeah,
that Johnny B. Good cover shouldn't exist.
Ram It Down is high B. Ram It Down was meh. Yeah, we got some divisive And again, they lost their footing a bit album cover wise. Whoops. They were doing so well. Say what you will about whether you like Turbo or not. The album cover is whether you can say it's not metal, it's just 80s.
No,
but
it's
like
good though.
that could have been the cover to Days of Thunder or something. You know what I mean?
No, the Turbo album cover is great. It's continuing in that style, and they kind of blow it. Ram It Down looks cheesy as fuck.
Ram It Down looks.
Yeah, I feel like they had best intentions, except it didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? It's one of those like budget metal records. Like I expect to see that on like a Russian import that, was like on an indie label that there's only 500 copies of. Like it looks really bad.
I expect to see that released from a guy who calls the band so-and-so's blank. That's what that album cover looks like.
It's like I don't know. It's just like a cheesy looking album cover.
You'd figure Blaine would be into a cover of dudes fisting people. Odd. Hey, fisting's not my thing. I don't do. That's not. I'm not the right guy for that.
You're on the banger stream.
And also, I think that's the problem. It's called Ram It Down, but the album
Straight to
cover,
the heart of this town.
The album cover is not really ramming something down. You know what I mean? It's like
smashing.
It's Ram It Down implies that you're like pushing something down, whereas it's kind of just like it's hammer fisting the earth.
True. Yeah.
It's that doesn't
I'm saying this
make sense.
B, low B, high B,
C.
Wow,
C.
yeah.
Definitely not a but. I don't think anyone's meant. I don't think we need to.
Let's give it a B or a C in the poll.
Yeah. No one's mentioned A. All right. So no one's mentioned it to A. So you can ram it down to B or C tier. You choose
Voting.
You choose where this will be rammed down to. Does not meet guidelines. That's interesting.
Ram it down
to ...
B or C. Really?
B or C. Can I not type ram it down in a Twitch poll? Ram it down. Oh.
Say cram it down.
Damn. Or is it down that's causing the issue?
Why would down be caused? I've written fuck in a poll before and it said content does not meet guidelines. So no, you can't swear. But does it think there's something? Is there like some innuendo in that?
Well, it's called ram it down.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Did someone want to explain that to me?
I mean, specifically, like, is it something that everybody's saying that we don't know about?
So
like it says content does not meet guidelines. How does a bot know what is it flagging? Just so curious.
I mean, the word down is also something that can trigger some things sometimes.
I mean, we got it to work.
Yeah.
We just had to say push it down, not ram it down.
Where are we pushing this record down to? B or C? Yeah, I don't know I can't think of it. Like, if I was making a dream, like my dream Judas Priest World Tour set list, like, no songs from Ram It Down would be on there.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight for anything off that record, to be honest. The best set list ever.
Yeah, right? Turbo got robbed, agreed. Yeah, like, regardless of whether you hate Turbo, come on, you want to hear them do Turbo Lover live. What's wrong with you? Why wouldn't you want to hear that song? The bot doesn't.
I can't tell people on the internet that I like Turbo Lover, but play it live, and I've had 5 beers. I'm totally down.
It's so good.
Sing-along potential, serious sing-along potential.
I mean, that is the album that's the song that really makes Point of Entry look stupid. You want to talk about a song to drive to? That's a driving song.
It is.
That's how you do a Judas Priest driving song.
Yeah, that's like a Neon Light DeLorean driving song.
Yeah. Lamborghini Countach.
Yes.
Turbo Lover is your favorite Priest song.
And then the follow-up comment.
But I'm also queer as fuck, so it makes sense. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, where are we at here? What's it going to be? Wow, Ram It Down will get pushed down to C, it looks like.
Looks 13 to 21. Pretty clear. Pretty clear. I mean, again. Above that. But yeah.
That's 88, so what's next? 90, right?
And next is 1990.
What a weird fucking...
Okay, so there's no way this record's not an S, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels... Like I said, this is the only argument around Screaming of Vengeance I'll take is if Painkiller's better than Screaming of Vengeance. because I don't know, suddenly Judas Priest is like a tech death band.
Dude, it's just
Holy
crazy.
shit.
Like, it's just all of a sudden they're like a totally different kind of metal band. It's not British Steel anymore. It's not Nawabum anymore. It's not true heavy metal. It's like fucking intense.
Well,
man.
I think, again, like I said, Priest is really good at seeing what's happening and trying to digest it. They saw what was happening in the 80s. They tried to digest that with Turbo. I think they did a good job. Some people don't think they did a good job. The 90s, things were getting really aggressive and heavy. So Priest was like, hey, let's digest this in a Priest way. And they did a really
like, it's
good
1990
job.
though. It's like they literally predicted what the 90s were going to sound. They dictated what the 90s were about to sound like.
Well, I mean, don't forget, like, there's Halford, like he's showing up at Burning Love shows and stuff. Like, now, like, this is clearly a guy who's always wanted to know. He just posted a picture of him in a Caveller Tech shirt and being like, hey, make sure you like, this guy is, it's still to this day, like, making sure he's aware of what's happening in metal. Like, who's headlining festivals, whose bands I need to be aware of, who's on the come up. And, clearly, yeah, putting that into Priest. And so, like, the 90s hit, and, death metal was taking off, and he went, okay, death metal's taking off.
Pantera was on the Painkiller tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
And Annihilator, too. Annihilator, Pantera, and Priest. It's an insane tour.
Yeah. Yeah, no one saying anything besides S. Okay, so here's the poll. The poll is not whether it's an S, because, it's an S.
Thank you for the 550 bits. You're now the bit leader, True Cult.
Yeah. So, who's the champion is the real question.
Who's the S tier champ? You're right.
Is it Screaming?
Stain?
Or
is it? No, it's going to be between Screaming and Painkiller.
Yeah,
Stain Class doesn't get to fight in this battle.
So, who's the true champion of Judas Priest?
Basically, where does Painkiller go in the S tier is what we're asking.
Is it above Screaming or just below? Is the poll that's to you in the chat.
Here's my piece. I think Screaming for Vengeance is much truer to the Judas Priest sound than Painkiller. Sure. Yeah, I think Painkiller is like an anomaly record and the only one that sounds anything like that.
Little Dr. Games, I haven't heard enough Priest to chime in on any other records, but the Death cover got me into Painkiller, and then I heard the original and it blew me the fuck away. S tier. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, no, yeah. Chuck does a really good Painkiller cover. It's crazy the guitar solos on this record. They went from like being a rock chop band with like a little bit of like 3-string sweeping to like just legato 6-string sweep, fucking harmony solos, like the guitar play. And I asked KK Downing about this. Is one of my questions. I'm like, I loved hearing your guitar playing evolve, but something really crazy happens between 88 and 90. Like, did you and Glenn get lessons? Did like someone inspire you guys? Like, where did that trick just come out of your back pocket? And he tried to tell me that they always had jammed like that and always played that and just never thought it belonged on a Priest record, and it just like happened. They just like went for it one day. I was like, all right, seems a little ridiculous, but I guess.
I mean,
there's like a noticeable difference in the playing.
You're like, I'm gonna go with you guys were locked in a basement and made to play because you're like, we're really stepping up the next record. So
yeah.
Which show us some licks and we'll let you out.
Yeah, like Rob was standing outside the door with one of his fucking whips. Like, yeah, you think you're ready to come out?
Play it again.
Last Halford album too. I mean, before the modern era, like ultimate mic drop. Yeah, I know. What a way to. I mean, I understand KK feeling like he's got a lot of ownership over this band, but like, not the best at expressing it.
Bezine says, not true. Jeff Waters said that Glenn Tipton was listening to Racer X. I'm sure that Glenn Tipton was listening to Racer X.
Okay,
I think everyone was listening to
Painkiller
Racer X
is the number one, the top of the list. I mean, it makes sense. We're an extreme metal channel. We
Painkiller beat out Screaming, yeah.
Yep, significantly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, 25.
There it is.
24 to 15.
Perfect album.
Yeah, perfect album. I mean, truly, the two of them, I mean, could be their own.
It is literally like another band. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very wild. All right. So we can, we're getting close to the end. We've got.
The Racer X Priest connection is not lost on me. Scott Travis played in both bands. Scott Travis played in Racer X. For sure. 100% Scott Travis. This is Scott Travis and he is scarified. Yeah. Totally. DK learns Painkiller on stream. Sure, we could do that. He joined for Painkiller. Yes, he did. Yeah. 1990 Painkiller, best Priest album is what this chat has just decided.
It's very close for me, but the absolute raw strength of the Painkiller song carries it for me. Yeah, I mean, you know, two strong albums. You can't really, and I mean, you know, One Shot at Glory ending an album is like, and All Guns Blazing is like your favorite voice, like your favorite voice to do is.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Halford voice. that vocal intro ever.
Yeah,
dude. Diamonds used to literally, we'd be driving and I'd sit in the front and have the music on the iPod, and I would just play that vocal intro over and over and over again until everyone who was pretending to sleep in the back would just get up and be, "Shut the fuck up!" Yeah, I was obsessed with that vocal part. Is fucking that is the coolest Halford voice ever. Yeah.
So I mean, now we get to we now we get to Jugulator, and interesting. Like, so a thing I think is interesting is, I think what maybe they were going for is the year. This is not so. Tim joins in 1996, which is the same year that Sammy Hagar and Van Halen split. You got to imagine there was like a little trickle in the back of their head that they're like, sure, yeah, Halford's kind of like the face of the band, but David Lee Roth was the face of Van Halen, and look at the Hagar era is actually significantly more commercially successful. So let's put Tim Ripper Owens in and try and do a little bit of that ourselves. And then
yeah,
I mean, it's AC/DC, like you know, anybody wants to say whatever, after Bon Scott they were like way bigger than they ever were before.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's always the possibility of things like that happening, but most of the time it's not usually successful.
Okay, so Jugulator. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. Continue on Jugulator.
Deadpan saying, okay, so Jugulator is a low B tier album. It's not nearly as bad as the reputation would leave you to be. Ripper did his best vocals on that album. So the problem with this album is that this is Judas Priest, again, doing the thing they always do, which is digest other musics and put it into a Priest filter. And so this is really digesting thrash and a little and grunge and nu metal, the like kind of like the brown sound of the brown note of the late 90s alternative music scene. And without the voice of Halford, I find the reason this album sucks so bad is that it doesn't wind up sounding like Priest digesting something. It winds up sounding like a band doing it sounds like, you know, Slayer. It sounds like Slayer doing their new metal album. It sounds like everybody's whoopsie. I mean, it's not as bad as Demolition, but I think that's like being
gonna say it's the better of the two albums, and it's not very good. It doesn't say that much.
Yeah. I think
Bloodstained, Cathedral Spires, there's good songs. There's totally listenable songs.
I don't know. I think just doesn't. There's no the thing that really marks Priest for me is every single Priest album is fun. This was the first time Priest was not fun, and I don't mean that as like this album sucks. It's like there's albums that aren't fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like a Deicide album isn't fun, but it's not. It's, you know, Glenn's not trying to make the album fucking fun.
So is it B or C? Is the big question.
I think it's a Y.
You think it's a Y? Wow,
yeah.
B, C, or Y?
Yeah, I think, you know.
There's love for B in the chat, man.
That's crazy. Well, I'll put it to the chat.
It might just be Deadpan commenting on 8 of his burner accounts, but
maybe we can wring some bits out of him for this.
Yeah, maybe he loves it enough to spend some bits.
C, Y.
Y.
I mean, I think it's a Y. I think it's a firm Y.
I'm curious to see what everybody says.
Yeah, me too. Because I'm like slightly indifferent on it. Like I won't get emotional about it ending up in either B or C. Like I'm not putting my neck out for Ripper Records. That's that's my take.
I mean, the insanity that anyone has enjoyed this record as much
as Turbo. His wealth is frozen.
If you're saying that this record is as enjoyable as Turbo to experience and as it leaves you feeling as good, then I'm sorry,
it's a weird flex.
Weird. I'm gonna assume. Yeah, I'm gonna assume you.
And I'm the guy who doesn't like Turbo. I think that's a weird flex.
Yeah.
I voted.
It's looking like C, 4, 14, and 11. So pretty strong, not strong album.
If you put it on B, you got to move Turbo to A, is what people are saying.
Yeah.
Obviously,
100%.
I think that's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way I'm letting those two albums touch. Turbo is an A. The chat, I mean, Alta. Hey, look, you've got two people that would argue that it's an A with you. You
guys voted though,
didn't you? It's an S by half this, by 66.6% of this panel. But the chat ultimately decided B. That's your fault. No, you need to move Rock-A-Roll.
I don't think we need to move
again.
Rock-A-Roll up.
Chat vote. Chat vote. This is your decision, Child in Time. I wasn't here for that moment. I was printing merch. Vote recount. True Cult Records. As a reminder, True Cult Records is a great independent record label, and you can get 10% off your order with code GALOOSH and a special surprise.
If you order from True Cult Records, use the redemption code GALOOSH at checkout for a special surprise of 10% off your order.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, C. Jugulator, C. Wow, that's a great special surprise. I want a special surprise. Can I just get a special surprise, True Cult? C.
C. Get it in there. All right. Now, do we need to talk about
Demolition's going in the Y.
Yeah.
Straight to Y.
I mean, it's very funny because Priest is one of the things Priest is chronically good at, because they do have some whoopsies, as we can see. There's a bunch in the C. They're so historically good at righting a ship when it goes off course. They're so good at just like the lane keep assist. They got lane keep assist on all the way. It's a Tesla. It fucking goes over when they hit that rumble strip almost immediately. This is the only time that like they really do not do that. They go like,
Interesting. Dark Lord says this list looks like it needs a D tier, and everything except for Painkiller and Vengeance should move down 1 tier. It's interesting, but we don't have it, so
I mean, I would go the reverse and just say Painkiller and
our legend.
Just so powerful.
S+.
So S+.
So
like
S+. Yeah, agreed. We need S+.
Like I said, Screaming of Vengeance for sure is in the top 5 most listened to albums of my life, and I still have not gotten sick of it in any way, shape, or form.
Put it in Y and move on.
Owens is the go-to when a band needs any vocals. Yeah. Quick
Put
Y.
Demolition in the Y and move on.
Yeah. You can't even see it. You can't even see it. It's there.
I'm really excited to talk about this next one.
Last 4. We got 14 minutes, so quick time.
I'm really excited to talk about this
Demolition.
Next one.
It's a new metal record. It sounds like you know what? I thought Demolition sounds like a bad Megadeth record. That's the way I feel like it sounds.
Like a bad Megadeth record?
Like a bad Megadeth record. Yeah.
Aspen, thanks for the gift to Mr. Lars. Hot move. This is the first time I saw Priest live. Was on the Angel Retribution tour. Anthrax opened. Really good album. Really fucking good album. It's the Halford Comeback record, and it's got tons of good songs on it. Like really. And some people laugh that I like a modern Priest record and hold it in high regard. Like, yeah, man, that's a modern Priest record that fucking ruled. Even the cheesy ballad Angel is fucking great.
Do you think, how rude is it for this to be the album title though? Do you think Halford, they were like, hey, can you come back? And he was like, only if you call the album Angel of Retribution. Like, what a flex. Like, let me just fix your band for you.
I mean, they obviously knew.
Yeah.
Like, wait, okay, so this band's done unless you're coming back.
So it's like when Tracy Guns and Phil Lewis reunited the original LA Guns. The comeback record was called The Missing Piece, and Piece was Peace.
Yeah.
They made a great call doing that.
Yeah.
The two LA Guns was too much. Like,
way too much. Way too much.
I think Deal with the Devil is like the song on this that really shows like why I hate that Rip Records, where it's like the swagger of the chorus is like there's no moment like that. Every Priest record has a moment like that where you're just smiling and moving, and there's no ripper album with that, and it's bad.
I don't even hate that song Loch Ness, that 14-minute ridiculous song about the Loch Ness monster. There's some cool riffs in there.
Yeah. Pretty good.
It's a good album. I say that album is an easy B.
Easy B?
Easy B.
Easy B? Easy B?
Loch Ness. I like that album. I was a kid when I fucking got that record, like, day it came out. I loved it. I was so stoked that Halford was back. Judas Priest was a band again. Yeah. So cool. And it was the comeback for Joey Belladonna, too. It was like a 2-singer comeback tour. It was Belladonna's comeback and Halford's comeback. B or C? I'm going that's an easy B tier, right under Turbo.
So is it the Angel of the B tier or
I like the album way more than I like Turbo, but I know that you guys will freak out if I try and put like a 2000s Judas Priest record above Turbo.
The incredibly impactful Judas Priest era of the mid-2000s.
Why is no one talking about Fight? Because it's literally a Judas Priest tier ranking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I'd put this above Turbo. Easy. How dare you? My intro to
blasphemy.
My intro to Halford was Fight. Why is no one talking about Fight? Yeah. Why? The same reason we're not talking about KK's Priest, because
even though we keep talking about it somewhat on the side.
Yeah, we literally,
but not the album and director or whatever.
No. We're just cheap shots exclusively.
Yeah. Just thanks for the memories. Yeah. Real rude. B tier, strong B tier. It's very strong B tier. Only 2 people putting it in C tier.
Some people say you should have A tier in it. Like, I agree sort of, but like, I don't think it's fair to put Angel. You know what? Fuck it. Can you redo that poll with an A in it as well, or is that insane?
That's insanity.
Yeah, it's insane.
Angel of Retribution is.
Did anyone else? Am I the only person in this 3-way here that loved that album?
Look, it's a good album. This
is not that kind of democracy.
I think potentially also the album just like the album sounds better because of what it's fought. You know what I mean? Like it's like
I don't know, man. Hell Rider is like pretty much Painkiller quality. Judas is Rising is Painkiller quality. Demon Eye, like it's Painkiller Part 2. It really is Painkiller Part 2. It's got the same tone. It's got shitloads of double bass all over it. Tons of leads.
Revolution and Worth Fighting For back to back is like a pretty good little back to back on a record. 1, 2. Yeah. Definitely a strong record, but I think whoa. C tier. The chat's spoken.
Record paid 234 bits just so it could get into C tier. I'm not letting that happen.
I'll put it number 1 on the C tier. You can't.
Yes, you can. It has to go in B. Sorry. No. Impossible.
Sorry.
Impossible.
Sorry. Hey.
You're all on C rack. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's not that kind of democracy, to echo someone else's sentiment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry.
It's a true American democracy. The person that has the most money decides the laws.
Yeah, this is my one veto. Thank you. I'm using my veto one per episode is contractually written into my contract. Angel of Retribution.
All right. Well, I'll accept it because it's True Cult Records and
True Cult was just trying to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
True Cult.
Well I fucked it up. It was a B.
Yeah, dick move.
All right. It's not going above Turbo though. Get Ben.
I won't argue that either.
Okay. Now we get into the gloss over period, I would say, of Priest's career. Nostradamus, I mean,
that one's really bad. That one's like, isn't that the one that's almost 2 hours long? It's a double album concept record. Get the fuck out of here
again. And I mean, not to just exclusively blast all over Tim Ripper Owens. Again, what I've been talking about with fun, they forgot that here as well. Nostradamus, no fun on that album.
No fun at all.
Yeah,
it didn't have it was missing all the the classic elements of what a Priest album. Not that they need to repeat the same thing and over, but it just didn't have anything. Yeah, fun, somewhat metal in that range. It was just I don't know.
Chris Bizarre, I totally forgot.
It missed the mark where I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, the digital orchestration on that album is atrocious. Yeah.
It has fucking symphonies on it and stuff. Yeah.
Priest is not meant for a concept album. I'll take a Priest concept album as long as it's about a mustache panther tank. Like that's a Priest album. I'll take. But yeah, Nostradamus. Yeah,
like a synth wave Judas Priest like concept album, but no Nostradamus.
Yeah. I'll never get why like Priest, Maiden, all these bands that like created these like complete fire 36 minutes, just 36 minutes of unflinching like perfection in their twilight years, like start doing like 2-hour long albums. It's like, dude, why why are you doing this? Like, it's just that point where you get too large, I guess, and no one in your camp is like, yeah, that song needs to get cut. It's not working. We can't make it work. It's not vibing. I know you guys.
Guns N' Roses did it. We're doing it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But I'm also, I have a weird take on Illusion 1 and 2. I think it's weird. Yeah, we could talk about that in the Guns N' Roses episode because it's definitely gonna happen.
Yes,
all wise.
Hell yes.
All wise. It's definitely better than Demolition.
Y or C?
No one said anything. I haven't seen a C in the chat. I've exclusively seen Y's.
Yeah,
Y. Nostradamus is Y. Huge Y. Y.
Get Nostradamus and
Second
Y,
least favorite. It's obnoxious in my opinion. The digital orchestration is atrocious. Yeah. So yeah. So we got
we have to cut this thing at 6.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
Okay.
No.
We have
to. I can't stay forever, but we have to talk about the last record.
Yeah.
We have to talk about these final two.
Do we? Okay, Redeemer of Souls. Okay, I mean, like I said, the best part of the album is them finding a hotter, younger Katie Danning.
People really liked that record. Like, I remember going to see the Redeemer of Souls tour, and like all the old heads that I was going with, I was kind of like, oh great, another Priest tour where they're gonna play like 7 new songs, and they're like, oh dude, you're gonna love the Redeemer tracks. You're gonna love the Redeemer tracks. Didn't love the Redeemer tracks. It was like not that good.
I mean, if Redeemer was their last album, we'd maybe be able to be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, well, at least they fixed that Nostradamus, blah, blah. But then with Firepower, it's like, why
weren't you just doing that?
Yeah, why do we need to talk?
Why?
Yeah.
Is Redeemer of Souls gonna be in
B? Okay B?
People are saying it should be B. We need to take a poll on Redeemer of Souls. I was gonna say throw it in C or Y.
Yeah, I don't think Y seems aggressive. I mean, they don't do anything wrong on it. It's like
Nostradamus is our modern Y. You got one Ripper album, one modern. Did they redeem? B yes or C? No, I'm gonna vote. Get that poll in there. Okay, here it is.
Y seems aggressive. Y seems aggressive. Y seems aggressive.
It is. It does need to be Y.
We need to reserve Y for really chastising them.
Yeah.
You can't. That's a special punishment reserved for when they like shit on the rug, not when they like, get spooked by fireworks and accidentally pee inside.
I voted. Yeah, Richie Faulkner on this record. This is like really when the band started to take on a completely different form.
Yeah.
Glenn's out. Glenn's about to be out. KK's gone.
Yeah.
Richie Faulkner's in.
I understand the bummer of like feeling like, hey, I started this band. What's going on? But you at some point you have to acknowledge that like
KK Downing quit the band.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who doesn't know the story, he fully quit. His argument, though, is that if Rob Halford can quit and come back, why can't I quit and come back? And my simple answer to that is that he's Rob fucking Halford, the metal god.
Yeah. Unfortunately, guitar players are a little more replaceable than Rob Halford.
Yeah, do you know how excited they must have been when Rob called and was like, hey, guys, I'd like to rejoin the band? They were probably like, sick, the paperwork's on its way.
Yeah, they were just like, fucking...
Been waiting.
Like, yeah, about time.
Yeah.
They had a checkup at the doctors. Wow, your heart, I was worried about your heart. You seem to have a developing heart condition. It seems to have gone away entirely in the last 24 hours.
All your health issues that have rushed me with stress have now gone away. And your life has seemed to return somehow.
Wait, Banger TV, can we throw that KK's Priest album into the Y tier 2 just for the meme? It was, I mean, look. all we want is more good metal, but wow, that was a strange. Again, just making the worst arguments. Like, Halford's not it's not Halford's band, it's my band, and you're like, dude, Demolition and KK's Priest are like really not good cases to make that it's your band.
It's Ian's band. That's
people
what
get
it is.
People get real weird about being there from the beginning or certain things rather than what actually the band becomes. They just get locked into this is how it is. You're like, what, 50 fucking years ago? Like you started this? Like, like stuff changes.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, if Rob Halford was the most unimportant part of the band when Rock and Roller came out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, everything changed, and it's
so weird because it's not even I mean, well, it's still not relevant. But with Iron Maiden, you're like, yeah, but I was there at the start. Like with Halford, it's like he wasn't in the band when we formed. It was like he's on the first fucking record. What do you want from him?
Yeah, I mean, band dudes get weird. Yeah.
Like, sorry, he didn't go to the same high school as you. Like,
yeah, you're like, I'm sorry, you guys jammed as a band and did nothing in a garage for 8 months before I ever joined the band. Like, yeah, blasphemy, done.
Yeah, like Dave Evans, the original singer of AC/DC. Wait, what?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that. Another hilarious aside. We were in South America somewhere, and someone said to us, we're eating lunch. Like, oh, you know who else played this venue? Do you know the original singer from AC/DC? And we all like spit out our food. We're like, Bon Scott played here? Like, when? Like that? What do you mean Bon Scott played here? Like AC/DC played here? And he's like, no, Dave Evans. I'm like, who the fuck is Dave Evans?
Yeah, who the fuck is Dave Evans?
Like, what is Dave? I had to like read about this character, Dave Evans, who recorded a 7-inch with the band when they were like a garage band. Wrote the lyrics to Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? Like, get the fuck out of here. Dave Evans.
Al Atkins is the only true singer of Judas Priest. Oh, so good.
Yeah, my favorite lineup's the Atkins era.
Yeah. My favorite lineup is the Al Atkins era. Hi, I'm John Atkins, Al Atkins' brother.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's really good. Blaine, you're on today, man. You've been great today.
We're firing on all cylinders. All right. I saw Dave Evans play AC/DC songs he didn't even sing on.
Oh, you've seen that live? I saw photos of him signing copies of Back in Black, which is just like so ridiculous on so many levels. Like, isn't that insane?
Yeah. Your favorite Beatles, Pete Best?
Ridiculous. Dave Evans. Anyways.
What
do we got left? We just shat on, 2 modern records in a row, and now's like this hilarious thing happened where they got an old artist and an old groove back, and holy shit, firepower. Christian, what's up?
It's like my favorite fucking old band's new record ever.
It's crazy how much of a return it was to just sounding like Priest again overnight.
I remember because it was something, something was posted and was like, here's the new Judas Priest, like, slip of a single or whatever. And I'm all, yeah. What's this? I'm like, what? Is this going to be the best Judas Priest record of all time? Like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, I absolutely love the record, like, start to finish. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it suffered a little bit from modern production sound. Like, it sounds a little too new and clicky and computery to me, but like songwriting wise, it's obvious that they like really let Richie kind of be like, as because he's a huge fan. If you see any of the things he does outside Judas Priest, he's just a nerd. He fucking knows all the cover songs. He knows how to play all the riffs properly. He's a big music fan. Like, it seems like they finally just like kind of took some advice from him. It was like, hey, like, what would you want on a Judas Priest record? And it's like, boom, it's like Screaming for Vengeance Part 2. It's unreal. It's really, really good.
I mean, I will say, hour and 6 minutes, unnecessary.
Oh, wow, that's long.
Yeah, it's long. And a bit of editing could have really gone a long way, because I find like a lot of songs have bad parts. There's but no song is like exclusively bad. Like, I feel like Flamethrower is kind of the best example of a song where it's like there's parts of it where it's like it's an amazing song, and then there's parts of it where I swear it sounds like Rob Halford is making up the lyrics on the spot. It's like, what is this? Is he just freestyling? Is Rob Halford freestyling right now? But you know, a little editing would have gone a long way.
It's a little repetitive, and you know what? I didn't realize it's over an hour. That's why it's repetitive.
It's too long. But
for a Priest record,
but I mean, you know, like 48 years or whatever the hell this 2018. So that would have been like your 46th year as a band. An album even worth listening to is like fucking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've never heard a band put out a record that far in their career that was all, what's up with this record?
Yeah,
usually it's like, okay, here comes a record. Don't pay attention to the record.
We'll
just
still go
one
see
single.
them. Yeah, we'll go see them live still for the greatest hits. But like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Like, did you see Kiss when they did like the Sonic Boom tour and they were playing Sonic Boom, and I was just like, stop playing this song.
It gets even worse on the record after that. Sonic Boom was listenable. The one after that is not. Monster is not a listenable record.
I don't even know it.
Exactly. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's throw it to the chat though to decide on whether
it seemed like A.
I love how Christian comes out swinging with S here, but that ain't,
I know, and I was like, no one's gonna agree with this. I just I don't know, that record came out, and I was like, it really got me. Where I was just like, I'm obsessed with this record.
Oh, you and a lot of people, man. No one would shut up about how good
that was
Firepower
like that got like record of the year from a bunch of people.
S, A, or B, Firepower. Here it is, the final poll. On our Judas Priest tier list. Here it is. I'm voting. For a while, I couldn't
decide if I was so shocked that they put out something that was good after so long.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a surprise record. And, you know, the cover's a little modern for my taste, but great classic feel, indicating it's a modern album, though. Really nice album cover. So peculiar. Like, old bands having a nice album cover is like, it's impossible. It's like there's like someone like has a gun to their kid's head and is like, no, you must make this album cover look as hideous as possible every time. And so that also really kind of, I think, adds to the kind of nice impact the album hits with.
Why is the Redeemer of Souls and Nostradamus cover so fucking bad?
I don't know. It's
maybe that was this is about. They're like, okay, look, gotta change the sound back to what you guys used to do, and we need to at least hint at like where everything was when it looked cool. Well, you know, like there's even like there's a bunch of bands, like older bands, that won't reprint merch, and I'm like, dude, people are spending $800 on this fucking shirt on eBay or wherever, you know, people buy it stuff, and they'll be and like they're like, we don't reprint those designs. I was like, well, there's like 17 dudes on Instagram bootlegging them now because you guys don't press them.
Yeah, it's always funny when bands complain about bootlegs and you're like, are you making that shirt? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Or anything similar too. Yeah, it's true. That's why, I mean, you know, especially in the scene that, you know, Christian runs the fucking coolest festival, and like that, like traditional heavy metal scene, like all those old bands are finally figuring it out. Like it took me a minute to explain to Dan and Al too. They wanted to commission a ton of new artwork for Exciter merch, and I'm like, hey, like, fuck yeah, we'll do some new shirts, but like I think you guys need to know that like the Heavy Metal Maniac like tour shirt is really just the design that you'll be able to sell forever to anyone without them batting an eye. They're willing to spend hundreds of dollars on the bootleg. Trust me, they want that shirt reprinted, and they're like, I don't know if people are gonna buy that, and obviously people fucking bought that.
Obviously you're right.
Yeah. It's
do they have crazy old shirt designs that like no one's seen in forever?
Yeah, so there's a couple.
They actually still have.
Yeah, there's a couple like really obscure ones that I think were only made for tours, like when they were just like, you know, they were like a shitty DIY punk band that was like somehow on a Metallica playing field at one point. They were so poorly organized, it'd be like 30 presses of one shirt. I was like, Dan, I've never seen this shirt before. And he's like, yeah, man, there's 30 of them. I'm like, oh, That's not a lot.
It's like for friends and family shirt.
Yeah, there's literally like basically felt like crew shirts. The only people that have them are people that were in their immediate circle. So yeah, there's a couple shirts that I really want to recreate that are like no one's ever seen. They're fucking insane designs. T-shirt Slayer doesn't even have some of them, you know?
And I mean, if you say that, if you advertise it as that too, like, I mean, limited run, you know, 500 only unearthed Exciter t-shirt. Ooh, baby, that's gonna
Yum.
Yeah.
Can you move the camera so we could see the whole tier list? I want to see how this whole thing looks. Yeah, list only.
Oops. Oh. There we go.
Okay. So there's our tier list.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, if we want here we can get it full uninterrupted tier list. I think
Judas Priest album tier list.
It's crazy. I mean, it seems like we were being a little zealous with a 6 S tier, but really, I mean, they deserve it. Yeah.
I can't believe there's such a divide. Like, look, there's only 2 albums in the B tier that like realistically could have also been in the A tier. Then there's a couple in C and a couple Ys. Like, this is really a band that has a perfect discography. Look at that shit.
The Donkadonks. I'd re-rank Point of Entry to at least B. That's such a wild statement. So top heavy, you'd think it was photoshopped Instagram model. Could be.
Well,
Painkiller should be triple S. Well, that's why it's the number one. Labra CFC. That's why it's the number one in the S category, because everybody decided it was the best.
We did it. We had
Child in Time. I've never disagreed so much with a Lockhorns tier list than this one.
Yeah, Child in Time, you're throwing out some pretty interesting opinions throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And not just about this band. When we'd like mention other bands, and you would like chime in about bands. And I read everything you wrote. I'm like, oh, Child in Time's got some interesting opinions here.
S is way too full in my mind. It should have an S plus, possibly. But I think S. I think the fullness of S really just speaks to how good of a band this is.
Also, what Deadpan said is what I wanted to make sure I mentioned on this stream was that I know we're studio albums, but Unleashed in the East is probably tied for greatest live album of all time with like Live After Death.
Live albums snore.
Not Unleashed in the East. That's not a snore at all. Wow. The live versions of those songs are better than the studio ones. It's insane. Specifically Victim of Changes. It's crazy how good that live version is.
I don't know. And when I listen to live albums, I'm just like, yeah, this is the worst version. And also, I just feel like I'm missing out. Like, it doesn't give me the experience of seeing this band live. It just makes me sad I'm not seeing them live.
Man, you got to listen to more Thin Lizzy live albums, and I'll change your opinion.
Hey, Dark Lord Fabio, thanks for gifting the sub to the controversial Child in Time.
The controversial Child in Time, as you will now be known.
Terracotta groundbreaking hot takes from BangerTV. Judas Priest good. Hell yeah, brother. The groundbreaking hot takes for that Turbo is one of their all-time best albums, and you can stuff it if you don't believe so.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. We asked Christian to come on the show. He wanted a fucking Judas Priest album ranking. You got it. Judas Priest album ranking.
And I feel very
here
happy.
On BangerTV,
feel
live
very
on
happy.
Twitch.
As a reminder, if you want to toss Christian some support and a thank you, you can pick up the new Night Cobra record, and you could pick up the slightly older Necrofier record to be ready for when the new Necrofier record comes out. And of course, you can go.
Yes, please.
Yo, Night Cobra releasing fucking 10-inch vinyl spiky razor blade.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, that saw blade is just me being obsessed with Judas Priest and wanting to do something along that vein.
Yeah.
Like that saw blade is the coolest vinyl record. That's like cooler than the blood inside, the liquid inside records. That's like a really cool idea. I've never seen it done. So support a creative dude in the scene, one of the hardest working dudes in the scene.
Okay, one closeout question
chiller.
from Deadpan.
Okay.
Hey, Christian, do you have an ETA on an announcement for next year's Hell's Heroes? Also, are the bands that had to drop out playing next year?
Possibly at the beginning of August. I think we're going to do a pre-sale this week. And I think so on the other bands.
Great.
The only festival that is consistently good enough that you can do a pre-sale without announcing a single headliner and it's going to sell out. Congratulations. You fucking kill it, dude. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Literally, the only festival that competes with you is a giant entity with like multiple stakeholders,
with its own city,
its own city and its own private funding and 300
that's subsidized by the French government.
And is 2 weeks long apparently. So congratulations, dude. Fucking killing it, man.